Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm really excited for this wonderful virtual event that we've put together. Hoag Healing Breast Cancer Survivors is our survivorship program here at Hoag Hospital, and we'd love to welcome you to our virtual series. Every few months, so about every quarter, we put together an event just like this that's used to be in person, but now, of course, is virtual, which is great. So we can, hopefully reach more patients, and it's easy to access from your house and in the comfort of your own home and maybe in your PJs. So we're really excited to have you here tonight. We have a wonderful panel of two speakers, which we are looking forward to. Before we get started on the introductions, I just want to remind everybody who registered that you will get an email newsletter right after the program tonight. So it will come a little bit earlier. Please look out for that email. It has a few great kind of tips and things related to some of the things that we're going to speak about tonight. But more importantly, it also has a small survey link, and please, please, please take the time to do the survey and let us know how you liked our program tonight, how you've liked any of our previous programs, or if there's anything that you really want to hear about that we haven't talked about in any of our series or events. We would love to hear your feedback. So please take just a few minutes out of your time after the event to fill out the survey. Also, for one of our recipes that we have tonight, there'll be a link on that newsletter, so you have access to this yummy recipe. And we really look forward to hosting more events in the future. So please look out for our next event in October. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Sadia Khan, AMA breast surgeon at Hoag Hospital, and I help to lead the survivorship program. In addition to the series that we are doing tonight, we do put together other programs for patients who have gone through a diagnosis of breast cancer. Really, a breast cancer survivor starts at the diagnosis of breast cancer and basically is lifelong. There's all kinds of, trauma from having a breast cancer diagnosis, but there's also some, ongoing trauma, let's say, like side effects, ongoing risk factors. And we really try to educate women who have gone through breast cancer or maybe still have a diagnosis of breast cancer on ways that they can help reduce their risk of future cancer, and touching upon, different disciplines such as, focusing on risk reduction through exercise or nutrition, or, reducing your stress levels with mindfulness and meditation. So we're really excited to host the two speakers tonight. So our first speaker will be Asia Yates. She is the wellness coordinator at the Hoag for Her Center for Wellness, and she holds a bachelor's degree in health science and a master's degree in kinesiology. Asia has been teaching Pilates since 2013, and she loves helping others to learn the importance of posture and mindfulness, both during exercise and in their normal lives. So we'd like to welcome Asia. She has a wonderful program for us tonight. She is going to be leading a little bit of some exercise, so make sure you're in comfortable clothes. Maybe grab a chair so that can assist you in the exercise, and I'll let Asia take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Asia Yates. I'm the Wellness Program Coordinator here at the Hoag for Her Center for Wellness. I'm so excited to join you today for the Hoag Healing Breast Cancer Survivorship Series, and we're going to do about a 15-minute full body workout. It's a body weight exercise routine that you can do anywhere, anytime, any place. I am going to have a chair handy. You could use a chair or a wall just for some balancing exercises, just in case. But other than that, all you need is your body. Let's get started. So starting with your feet about hip distance apart, you can roll your shoulders back, have a nice soft bend in your knees. Start to connect with your breath, taking a nice strong inhale in through your nose and then an exhale out through your mouth. We'll continue to breathe like that as we start our movement, taking a nice inhale to prepare. On your exhale, lift your heels up, coming up onto your tippy toes, and then inhale, lower your heels back down. That's it. Exhale, we lift up, and then inhale to lower. So we're just starting to warm up our feet and our ankles as we come up and then right back down. Feeling the muscles on the back side of your lower leg working to help you lift your heels up a little bit higher each time, and then bring it back down nice and slow with control. If this exercise is challenging your balance a little bit, feel free to grab onto that chair, place a hand on the wall to give yourself a little bit more support. We're gonna go for 3 more here. Exhale up, and then inhale lower, and 2 more. And bring it down. Last one, lift up and just hold it right there. Let's just see if we can lift our heels up a little bit higher, pull your abs in, stand up a little bit taller, balance, and then lower your heels down. All right, next up we're gonna do a hip opener exercise. So take your right foot, lift it up away from the floor, open up over to the right, and then bring your leg back down and behind. So we lift up, open out to the side, and then bring it down. As you lift your knee up, think about really grounding down through your left foot, all the way up through your left leg, really working balance here as you mobilize your right hip. And let's try the other way. So right leg swings behind, open up over to the right side, and then bring it down. So we push back, open, and then bring it down. Think about your abs and pelvic floor muscles working to lift you up so you stand up nice and tall and keep your balance. Let's do one more. Open up, and then bring it down. Shake it out. We're gonna try the other side. All right, this time left foot lifts up. We open up over to the left, bring your leg back behind, and then tap down. We'll go again, up and over, and then all the way around. Making that nice strong connection between your right foot and the floor, really working here to stay up nice and tall, using your abs and your breath. Let's try the other way. So left leg swings back, open up, and then bring it down. Working within your range of motion that helps you feel mobilized through your left hip, but also helps you keep good form and stand up nice and tall. Last 2, bring it back, open, and then tap down. And one more back, and open, and tap down. All right, next exercise, we'll keep both feet on the floor. You can place your hands on your hips. We're just gonna draw some hip circles. So take your hips over to the left, and then push your hips forward, and then swing them over to the right, and then push back. So we're kind of like mapping out 4 corners with our hips as we draw circles around. And then we can just kind of make that a little bit more fluid, really trying to stretch out your sides, the front of your abs, and your back as you push back. We'll go for 2 more here, making this movement look however feels best for your body, right? Doesn't matter what it looks like, it's all about how it feels for you. We're just warming up our hips. Let's meet back in the center. All right, next up we're gonna stretch out our hands and our wrists. So reach your arms out in front, stretch your fingers out as wide as they'll go, and then make a nice tight fist. So it'll be a nice inhale, stretch, open up, take up as much space as possible, and then exhale, nice tight fist. I'll give you a little hint, we are going to do some planks today, so we wanna make sure our hands and our wrists are nice and warmed up, strong and ready to go. We'll go for 2 more. Nice big inhale, stretch, and then exhale, crunch, and 1 more big stretch, and then bring your fingers in. Let's relax your wrists. We're just gonna draw some circles around with your wrists. Nice little mobilizer. This might feel really good if you spend a lot of time on the computer. And then let's go circles the other way. All right, now we're gonna try out some elbow circles. So you can bring your arms down by your sides, make a little bit of a bend with your elbows. Think about keeping your upper arm still and drawing a circle with your lower arm. So it's like your lower arm or your forearms are rotating around your elbow. Nice smooth circles. The upper arms do move a little bit, but we really want the movement to come from our lower arms. And then let's try circles in the opposite direction. So just warming up our arms. We'll go for 3, and 2, and then 1. Take your arms out nice and wide out to the sides. Big inhale in, take up as much space as you can. And then exhale, pull in, give yourself a nice big hug. And then inhale, open up wide. Exhale, switch which arm is on top. Give yourself that big hug. As you open up, think about stretching out your chest. And then as you close, think about pulling your shoulder blades apart. We'll go 2 more here. Big inhale and a big exhale. And then 1 more big inhale and a big exhale. And then relax your arms down, shake it out, shake it out. All right, so that was our warm up. Next, we're gonna move on to our workout. Our goal is to work our nice, big, strong muscles, our leg muscles, to help us really get our heart rate up and get a nice, fun workout in. So our first exercise has two parts. The first part is an arm circle. So starting with your arms down by your sides, reach your arms up to the sky, open out wide, and then bring them back down by your hips. We'll try the other way. Push your arms back, open up, reach up, and then bring it all the way down. The other part is a squat. So we're starting with our feet about hip distance apart. Toes can be either pointing straight forward or slightly out to the side, depending on what feels best for your knees. On your inhale, you're just going to drop your hips down like you're sitting in a chair. When you get there, check out to see that you can see your toes. We want to make sure our knees aren't going so far forward that our heels lift up, and that your knees are tracking in line with your middle or pinky toes. So we don't want our knees collapsing in. From here, we just stand up nice and tall, and we'll try one more squat on its own. Inhale to lower, and then exhale, squeeze your glutes, stand up tall. Let's try that out with the arm circles. Arms reach out as we lower down into our squat. As you lift up, reach your arms up overhead, circle your arms around, and then drop back down into your squat. Now we're going the other way with the circles. Arms push back, open up, reach up, and then lower back down. That's 2 out of 10. Here we go. Up and circle, back down. Push your arms back and circle and lower. That's 4. Up and circle and reach, and up and circle and reach. If you're going at a different pace than me, that is totally fine. Just make sure you're moving your body with control and focusing on your form. We'll go for 3 more here. Open and circle, and then 2 more, and 1 more. And then stand up nice and tall. Next up, we're gonna do a 10-second plank hold. So we're gonna work our way down onto our hands and knees. Coming down onto your hands and knees, you wanna rest with your wrists right underneath your shoulders and your knees stacked right underneath your hips. From here, we're gonna step our right leg back and then send your left leg back. If that's a little bit too much or you're feeling some tension in your lower back or shoulders, feel free to lower your knees down so that way they're slightly behind your hips. Which you can also bring your elbows down to do a forearm plank, either with your knees down or with your knees extended. Totally your choice of what plank you're choosing. But whichever one you've chosen, we're gonna go for 10 seconds. Take a nice big inhale to get ready, and then exhale, we'll start our plank. Here we go for 10 seconds. Think about lifting your chest up away from the floor. Pull your abs in nice and tight. Squeeze your glutes and your quads and just breathe. We've got 3 seconds, and 2, and then 1. Lower your knees down. Walk your hands in. We're gonna work our way up to standing for our next move. Like I said earlier, we do have planks in this workout, so after each move, we're gonna do a little plank. All right, so for our next standing exercise, we've got side lunges. So take your feet, again, about hip distance apart. Take your right foot, step over to the right side. Your toes can turn slightly off to the side, and then you're gonna bend your right knee, again, making sure your knee doesn't go past like where your shoelaces would be or not past where your toes are. Take your left hand and just reach across your body over to your right knee, and then come up and step your feet together. Now we'll try the other side. So left foot steps over. Again, your toes can turn slightly out towards the side. You're gonna bend into your left knee, right arm reaches over to the left knee, and then we come back together, okay? So nice step over with the right, left arm reaches. If you want, you can even stretch your right arm up to the sky, and then step back together. And then left foot steps over, bending your left knee. We reach for the left knee, and then step back together. So our goal here is to work our glutes as we lift up out of our lunge and to get a nice little stretch. So as you go into your lunge, the inner thigh on the opposite side is getting a nice stretch. Here goes 5, and then step together and reach and together. We've got 4 more. Step and reach, back together, and then reach, back together. Last one on each side. Reach and together, and then reach and together. Okay, from here we're back down in our plank for a 10-second hold. I'm starting off on my hands and knees, but you can choose elbow plank or to keep your knees down if you'd like. All right, so goal from switching back and forth between our planks and our lower body moves is to get our heart rate up. So if you're breathing a little heavy, you're doing it right. Feel free to take a break though, because sometimes these workouts can be a little challenging. Let's take 3, and then 2, and then 1. Lower your knees down. Let's work our way back up to standing. All right, for this next exercise, I am going to grab a chair just for a little bit of extra balance. Feel free to do the same if you'd like to. All right, so I've just got my chair right here on my side, just in case I want to grab a hold of something. So we're gonna do a plie squat. So we're gonna take our feet out nice and wide. Toes are gonna turn out to the sides. If you don't want to use a chair, you can also use a wall. But from here, our toes are turning out towards the sides. Our feet are a little bit wider than hip distance apart. All you're going to do is bend your knees, drop your hips down like we're doing a squat, but this time our knees are opening out wide to the sides. And then let's just stand up nice and tall. So we'll do that again. Inhale, we lower our hips down. And then exhale, we sit up nice and tall. Torso stays up. Let's go down in our squat and hold it right there. From here, lift up your right heel and then lower down, and then lift up your left heel and lower down, and then stand up nice and tall. That's our option 1. Option 2, we go down into our squat. You can lift up both heels and then lower them down and stand up tall. So you can choose option 1 or option 2. We've got 8 more. Inhale to lower, exhale, we lift 1 or 2 heels, and then exhale, we stand up nice and tall. So we go down, we lift, and then lower, and then bring it all the way up. Inhale down, exhale, heels up, inhale, heels down, and then exhale, bring it up, and down, and lift, lower, and up. We're halfway there. Down, and lift, lower the heels, and up. Make sure knees are still tracking out to the sides, out towards your pinky toes, and that you're thinking about your abs, helping you keep your torso up nice and tall. We don't want to lean forward or backwards through our spine. All right, 2 more here. Inhale down, up and down and up. This next one, let's hold it. Lift up your heels and then just hang out in your squat, right? Really feel that stretch in your inner thighs. See if you can sit up a little bit taller. Pull your abs in. We'll hold for 3 and 2 and then 1. Set your heels down. Bring it up. We're going to do another plank. I'm going to show an option for a modified plank using our chair. All right, so making sure you have a chair without wheels. You can place your hands or your forearms on the chair and extend your legs out nice and long. Working on this nice incline can give our abs a little bit of a break and our shoulders. So if being on the floor is a little too much for today, you could always use your chair. All right, let's start counting our 10-second plank. Here we go, breathing in and breathing out. See if you can lift your chest up a little bit more. Make sure your chin's not dropping down towards your chest, and then pull your belly button in. We're gonna go for 3 and 2 and then 1. Let's work our way back up to standing. All right, and we're gonna keep our chair out because we've got another balancing exercise. All right, I like using the high end of the chair. We'll be doing some lunges next, okay? So starting with your right foot in front, step your left foot back behind, okay? Now from here, it's totally your choice on how low you want to go into a lunge. Some days my knees don't like to go so low, and so maybe I just rest right here. Maybe I even have a smaller stance. But whatever version of a lunge you want to find, let's go there, and then reach your arms up to the sky. Now from here, we're gonna lift up your back left leg, resting your hands on your chair and straightening out your right leg, coming into a nice little balancing pose. And then lower your back left leg down, reach your arms up to the sky. So it'll be an exhale to lift up, coming up out of your lunge, balancing on your right leg, and then inhale to lower back down into your lunge. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, maybe take one hand off of the chair. Right, so now we're only using one hand for balance and support, and really challenging your right foot to make a nice strong connection with the earth. If you're feeling real wild and crazy, you could even lift up both hands and then lower back down. We're halfway there. Exhale, we lift up, and then inhale to lower. I always like knowing the chair's there though, that way, just in case I want to put a hand down, I sure can. Here we go for 3. Exhale, we lift up. And then inhale, we lower. Last 2. Bring it up. Ooh. And then back down. And then last one, lift up. And then lower down. Step your feet together. And we're gonna do the other side. Left foot's coming in front, right foot stepping back behind. Again, you're finding your version of a lunge that feels good for your body and doesn't create any tension in your knees. Take a nice inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, straighten out your left leg, lift up your right. And then inhale, we lower back down. So exhale, we lift up. Think about lengthening out through your spine, pulling your abs in nice and tight, and then inhale, we lower back down. So this move is like a stretch for the standing leg and then a little bit of work at the same time. We can start to play around with our balance challenge, maybe taking one hand off of the chair. Maybe you can try just taking the opposite hand off to see if one hand makes it a little bit easier or more challenging to balance. And then maybe we get a little wild and go hands free, but it's just so nice to know we've got that support system there just in case we need it. We've got 4 more here. Nice inhale to lunge, and then exhale to lift up, and lunging down, and then bring it up. Our legs should be starting to warm up here. Last 2, reach, and then lift, and then 1 more, we lunge, and then lift up, oh, and then lower down. Whew, I almost lost my balance there. All right, we're heading back down to the mat for our plank. Again, you do have the option to use your chair if you'd like to, but I'm gonna go right down to the mat. Stretch your legs out nice and long. Take a nice big inhale. Lift your chest up away from the floor, and then just breathe. Taking a nice strong inhales and nice strong exhales. See if you can pull your belly button in. Engage your glutes, and then lift your chest up. We've got 3 and 2. And then 1, lower your knees down, come all the way up. We've got 1 final exercise, okay? So feet are hip distance apart. We're gonna do a curtsy lunge. We're gonna start with a very small range of motion just to kind of see how this move feels for our knees and our body. And then if we wanna make it a little bit more of a deeper stretch, we sure can. So starting with my right leg in front, because my left leg's just did a little bit of a workout. I'm gonna take my left foot back behind and then over to the right side. All right, now from here, bend your right knee a little bit, and this is our curtsy lunge. We can stay just like that, or we can kind of play around with going a little bit lower. But let's step our feet together and try the other side. So right foot steps back behind, we lower down maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, and then step your feet together. We're gonna add in some upper body. So left foot steps back and over to the right, bring your hands together and then just twist over to your right side. Come back to center, step your feet together, and let's move over to the other side. Right foot steps back, we twist over, come back to center, and then step together. So it's an inhale to lunge and twist, and then exhale to step back together. Your choice on pace. We can pick up the pace a little bit to get our heart rates up. Mine's already up, but if you want yours up a little bit more, you could go a little faster, or if you're like really enjoying the nice stretch with this move, you can go a little bit slower. But make sure you're breathing, big inhale and exhale. We'll go for 4 more here, lunge, and then lift. And we lunge, and lift. Last 2, and up, and lunge, and lift, and then set your arms down. Last thing here is our plank. Because this is the last thing, we're gonna do 3 10-second planks. If you want to, you could even just hold it for the whole entire time. All right, your choice. We're working our way back down, hands and knees, maybe elbows and knees, maybe hands on the chair, whatever plank you're choosing. Take a nice big inhale, and then exhale, step your feet back. All right, once you get into your plank, you really want to connect with your breath, focusing on those nice big inhales and nice big exhales. You can play around with feet placement. Having your feet a little bit wider will give you a little bit more support. Having your feet a little bit more narrow might make it a little more challenging. This is our first 10 seconds. If you need a breather, you can tap your knees down and then come back up. We've got 2 more sets of our 10-second planks. One really important thing is, where is your head, right? Make sure your chin's not dropping down, hanging heavy. That'll just make the plank harder. Keep looking forward. We're looking ahead. Nice big breath in and a big breath out. Take a breather if you need it. We've got 10 more seconds coming up. Here goes our last 10 seconds. Keep pressing yourself up away from the ground. Don't let your shoulders pull you down, but lift yourself up. Keep breathing. We've got 5 and 4. Oh, 3. Last 2. And then last 1. Knees can come down. We'll work our way back up to standing. Oh, and just roll your shoulders back here. All right, we're gonna do a little stretch here. So take your feet out nice and wide, a little bit wider than hip distance. You're gonna take your left arm, reach up and over as you side bend over to the right. And then stack your spine, come back up. We'll try the other side. Right arm reaches up and over, side bend. And then bring it back up. Let's get 2 more on each side. Big inhale to reach, stretch, and then exhale, come back up. And then inhale, reach and stretch. Think about creating length and space. And back up, 1 more each side. A big inhale. And then exhale. And 1 more big inhale. And then exhale. We're gonna bring our feet back to about hip distance apart. Let's draw our hip circles 1 more time. Our hips worked so hard today. All of those squats and lunges. If lunges aren't really your friend and you wanna kind of do something different, still get your workout in, I would recommend just doing squats. And then circles the other direction. All right, and back to center. We'll just take a nice big inhale, reach your arms up, and then exhale, let it go. All right, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you had fun with the workout. Feel free to do this one again. Even if you want to make it a little bit of a longer workout, you could just repeat all of the exercises. You'll have about a 30-minute cardio and strength workout. All right, thanks for coming to Play. If you have any questions, you can feel free to send me an email at wellness@hoag.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And usually I do the healthy eating classes.
All right. Thank you so much, Asia. You did such a great job giving us some amazing tips on some wonderful exercises that we can do at home. I think so many people during COVID have turned, to work from home. So this is always a good reminder to get out of your chair if you're working from home, or maybe you're home quite a bit and everybody's kind of slacked off on exercise, I think, during the time of COVID. So this is a good reminder and some great exercises that we can reference from the comfort of our home, which we all love. So just a reminder to everybody tonight who's registered, you will get an email newsletter that has a link to some of the topics that we're talking about. You'll also be able to find and reference the video that you just watched with Asia and this entire event tonight on the Hoag YouTube site. So make sure you look out for that, and anytime you need a reference for quick exercises or a wonderful recipe that we'll go over with Barbara. So also another quick reminder, if you have any questions for our great speakers tonight, or you have any questions for me related to breast cancer, we'd love for you to submit any of your questions on the chat box below, and we will be able to go through question and answer after our next speaker. So our next speaker is Barbara Leland. She's a certified holistic health coach in Huntington Beach. She's been doing healthy eating classes for the Hoag Family Cancer Institute since 2016. Barbara is certified with the American Association of Drugless Practitioners and received her training through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in 2012. And she works with individuals to help them achieve their goals in health using personalized and holistic approach. So we'd love to welcome Barbara, and she's going to lead us through a great, yummy, healthy recipe. Go ahead, Barbara.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And usually I do the healthy eating classes here at Hoag Cancer Center during the day, but tonight is special. And we're going to talk about a recipe that not only is super delicious, but also can benefit your health, which is what we all want, right? That's our goal, deliciousness and health. So what we're making tonight is something called From Zen to Bien, and it's a Buddha bowl Mexican style. And it's a very simple recipe. A lot of these things you can prep, which is always great. And I'll go through which ones you can prep ahead of time. And some of them you want to do right when you're doing it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the dressing. And the dressing is a creamy dressing, but it consists of no dairy. This is an all vegan recipe, and it consists of, the cream base consists of cashews. So we have cashews that we've soaked overnight. We measured them before we soaked them, so they will grow in size. And then we're just going to throw those into the bowl of the food processor. Then we're going to add the olive oil. I've combined it here to make it easier. The olive oil, the apple cider vinegar, and the 2 tablespoons of water. Now you could do this with just olive oil and apple cider vinegar, but I find it to be a little too rich. So that's why I do the water included in here. So then we're going to put in the juice of the lime. And what I like to do with the lime is I like to just squeeze it into I use a fork and use that as a, like a lemon squeezer or a lime squeezer. It gets all the juice out of it. So we're not losing any of that deliciousness. And the lime is going to make it nice and tangy, a little sweet, and super delicious. So all this liquid is going to blend up the cashews nice before we put in the cilantro, because we want to get a smooth base first. So we're going to blend this up. I apologize in advance. And I just did that for 10 seconds. That's enough, really, to get it started. Now, this is a full bunch of cilantro. I cut off the end. I washed it, let it drain, dry, cut off the ends only. I would cut off the ends right before you're ready to use it, just so you don't get more oxidation before you're ready to use it. So just do it right before you're ready. You can wash it ahead of time, but just cut off the ends right before you put it in. Okay, and you're going to put in the whole bunch. This was quite a big bunch, so hopefully it won't be too dry. I think it'll be fine. But this was a bigger bunch than I usually have. I'm going to save a little bit of cilantro for the top of the Buddha bowl. Cilantro and 4 cloves of garlic. This is not for the faint of heart. This is a very nice, strong dressing. But you may want to cut back depending on your personal taste. I'm using 4 cloves of garlic. I'm using, let me think here, I'm using a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon salt of chipotle. And the chipotle is just a chili powder that has a smokiness to it. So I like the smokiness, but you can use any kind of chili powder you like. And I'm using the smaller amount of salt. You can always add more, but you can't take away. So try to start with less and see what you like. All right, now we're going to blend that up. And you may need to assist because it may not all get in there. And if you're lucky enough to have a Vitamix, which this is not, a Vitamix will probably get it all in one go. Mine is a Nutra Ninja. It's good, but it's not a Vitamix. Blendtec is another one that's really powerful. Blendtec and Vitamix are both very powerful, but you may or may not need that. They're also very expensive. So I'm just getting all the last bits of cilantro to come down into the dressing. And now we've got a dressing that is a beautiful color. It's a vibrant green, like a lime green. I'm going to put it in the jar. So that's going to be your dressing. It's a little thicker than I usually make it because of the amount of cilantro that there was. So if you find you want to put a little bit more water or a little bit more olive oil, that would work too, if you find that your dressing is a little thicker. If I was home right now, I'd probably put a little bit more water in it, because it's a little thicker than I would like, but it's still going to be delicious, so that's fine. Now, the rest of it is, that was the hardest part of the recipe. The rest of it is very easy, and all we're going to do, now this I chopped ahead of time. This is actually half a cup of greens chopped, but it's a half a cup after it's chopped, which when you start out, it was about 2.5 handfuls of greens. But you chop it, and keep chopping it until you get a nice condensed amount of greens at the bottom of your bowl. And the reason I do that, you could leave them big, but the reason I do that is because you're going to get more greens into your salad with less chewing, but you're still going to have the benefit of the more greens. It was about a little bit over 2 ounces of greens. And if you buy one of those bags of these are power greens, by the way, which is kale, chard, spinach, full of iron, full of phytochemicals, very good for you. Fiber. If you buy one of those bags of power greens at Trader Joe's or something, you're going to have about 5, I think that's 5-ounce bags. So probably about a half a bag per serving. And I'm only doing 1 serving here. The dressing I made full serving, but I'm only doing 1 serving for the Buddha bowl. Otherwise, I'd have 4 bowls here. Okay, so by the way, I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the ingredients we've already used. The cashews, they have healthy fats, they have fiber, copper, magnesium, manganese. All that is super good for you. It gives you energy, brain health, immunity, and bone health. So, and none of that is with dairy. Okay, we're just using, like I said, a vegan recipe here. The lime is vitamin C. When you're using the greens, the dark leafy greens, you're using them. One of the reasons is for iron. Okay, but it's not like iron that you get from an animal source. That goes directly into your system and is absorbed. Plant iron needs help. So we need vitamin C to absorb plant iron. So you'll see here we have lime, we have tomatoes, we have red peppers. All of those items have vitamin C. So the iron is going to be well absorbed into your system. Okay? Now, the garlic is immune boosting. That helps a lot for building up your immunity, and also it's antibiotic, and it can help your blood pressure as well, as can the greens. Okay, so quinoa is next. Next we're going to layer, we have the first layer of the greens. We're going to put in the quinoa. Quinoa you can do ahead of time. Just cook up a batch of it and measure it after you've cooked it. So you can do it any design you want. What I normally do is I just layer it and present it, and then it's tossed. So it looks pretty when you're presenting it, but the way you really eat it is to toss it, and it's delicious. So then after that, we're going to put in a layer of the black beans. By the way, the quinoa is a complete protein, one of the few plant sources of complete proteins. So that's really important. The black beans also have protein, but they will combine with the quinoa to make it a complete protein. And now the green onions. This is one very large green onion, I might say. So it gave me quite a bit. That's really just one green onion. But it's looking pretty already. And now the corn. And this I just used the frozen organic corn. On your recipe, you'll see little asterisks next to certain items. Those items it's important to have organic. So the corn is one of those items that should be organic. And because if it's not, it's most likely going to be GMO. And it's not easy to find organic fresh corn anymore. But so far, we've got a nice bowl going on here. Okay, now we're going to add, this is the cauliflower that I roasted with olive oil. I put some cumin, a little bit of everything bagel, if you're familiar with that. It has garlic and onion and sesame, I think. Anyway, putting that on top. So I roasted the cauliflower about half an hour at 350. So far, looking good. Then we're going to put the tomatoes. Actually, we're going to stop with the red peppers. We're going to go ahead and layer until we get to the red peppers. So the tomatoes, these are a little bigger than most cherry tomatoes, so I'm going to cut them into 4s instead of halves, like I said on the recipe. And this is going to give you nice color. It's going to give you vitamin C, again, important for absorbing that iron. It's also going to give you phytochemicals, and the phytochemicals are important for helping your body fight disease. So all of these things, everything we're doing here is important for our health, but what it seems like we're doing is important for our taste. And that's the whole secret, to make things that are healthy but taste delicious, so that you and your family want to have this healthy food. Now I'm adding the red peppers, again, more vitamin C, and you can do the red peppers ahead of time, not too long. I wouldn't do the red peppers more than a day ahead of time, but you can do them ahead of time. So now we've added all of our ingredients up until the avocado. The avocado, so we're going to, before we put the avocado, we're going to drizzle. This won't drizzle really. We're going to dab with the dressing, and we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of dressing. So you're going to get some beautiful color here. And another half a tablespoon. And so many nutrients. And the cilantro is so good for your immune system. It's cleansing for your blood. It's fabulous. The more of it you can eat. Some people have a problem eating cilantro. They say it tastes like soap to them, which I've heard. So if you can't eat cilantro, go for parsley. It won't have the same taste, but you will get a lot of good benefits from it. All right, now we're going to do 1/4 of this avocado. And we're going to dice it and put it on top of the salad, just to make it look prettier. And why do I put the dressing before I put the rest of these ingredients? So that I don't cover up the colors and the prettiness of the things that we're putting on next. because, you know, we want to have it be appealing to our eyes, as well as to our taste, as well as to our health. Now we're putting the Kalamata olives. These were small Kalamata olives, so I put a little more than I said, and I just sliced them in half. If you don't like too many olives, put less. If you like them, put more. This salad is super, you can change it up however you like it. Just try to get the ingredients that are, you know, that you're doing for your health here. And the red pepper that we put in here, that's full of phytochemicals as well as the tomatoes, and also, again, like I said, vitamin C. The avocado has healthy fats, higher in potassium than a banana, and vitamin K, folate, and vitamin C. And the olives also, they have vitamin E, healthy fats. And now we're putting the pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds, and these are raw pumpkin seeds, organic. And pumpkin seeds are anti-inflammatory, and they're antioxidant, high in magnesium, and they're iron and zinc. So all of that is super good for your health. So that's it. Now you have your Buddha bowl, Mexican style. So that is the recipe for today. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat. And also, if you have any questions later on that you forgot to ask, you can contact me at ToLife, that's TO-Life-TO-Health at hotmail.com, okay? ToLife-ToHealth@hotmail.com, or visit me on my website at www.tolife-tohealth.com. Okay, and thank you very much for being here tonight. I've enjoyed doing this with you, and see you soon. Let me know if there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. That was really wonderful. Some great tips, and we are looking forward, hopefully in the question and answer, to hear more about phytochemicals that can help reduce our risk for breast cancer. So we're gonna go into our speaker panel. So we've got a few questions already in the chat box. If anybody has any questions for our speakers, please, you're welcome to add some more questions into our chat box. We'll try to get to all of the questions tonight. And thank you both for such wonderful talks and for sharing your contact information with our viewers. I'm going to go right into the question and answer, and we'll start with you, Asia. We have a question from the audience, and their question is, when they're doing lunges, their knees hurt. Should they push through the pain, or is there an alternative way to do the exercise if they're having pain with their knees?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely am not a fan of pain, right, if we can avoid it. So I would recommend, if you're experiencing pain with lunges, try to reduce your range of motion, right? So not going as deep into the lunge, but you can also do an alternate exercise like a squat, or maybe a sit to stand. So if you've got your chair, just sit down in your chair and stand up. That's still going to get your heart rate up, still going to work your strong leg muscles. It'll just be a little bit more friendly on the knees.
Great, thank you so much. Barbara, I've got a few questions for you. The audience wants to know how long will the dressing that you make, how long will that stay fresh in the fridge? The cashew.
Okay, yeah, so that dressing will stay fresh for probably about a week. We have not been able to get it to last that long, only because we eat it too fast. It's that delicious, but it should last about a week in the fridge because there's no components that are going to spoil.
Okay, great. Barbara, can you tell us a little bit more about, you had mentioned that quinoa was a complete protein. Can you explain what that means and why that's important?
Yes. Okay, so a complete protein is something that has all 9 essential amino acids. Quinoa is one of the few vegetable or plant-based items that have all 9 essential amino acids. It's important because your body needs protein to repair cells, to build new cells, to provide energy and put oxygen throughout the body. There's so many reasons why we need protein, and it's not always easy to get it when you're doing a vegan diet. So you have to know the things that will do that, and quinoa is one of them.
Great. Thank you so much, Barbara. Okay, Asia, I've got another question in the chat box for you. What is more important when we're doing the exercises? Is it to get all the exercises done, or is it more about keeping the specific form and all the details that you talked about during the exercises?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely, I choose form over everything. In Pilates, we really focus on keeping good form and alignment of your spine, right, as a protective mechanism. So I would say go at whatever pace fits your body and will allow you to keep good form, right? If that means you have to take a break or take a step back to kind of feel where your body is in space, adjust and realign, that's no problem. That's going to be a lot better for you down the road versus getting in a lot of reps and potentially hurting yourself.
Okay, good safe tips. Asia, do you teach yoga classes, or how does somebody who's viewing our event tonight get access to classes that you teach, either virtual or in person?
Yeah, so I have a couple classes on the Hoag website. I have a chair stretching class, and we're going to be releasing a couple of new core workouts. So if you take a look at hoag.org and look for the Hoag for Her Center for Wellness group classes, and then you'll see links to the different classes I teach, and then you download it and we can work out together every day.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Barbara, can you tell me, is plant-based protein better than animal protein? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes. So it's really a personal choice as to whether you want to have plant-based protein or animal protein. But if we're talking about bringing in more phytochemicals, more antioxidants into our diet to reduce the risk of future cancers and to keep our bodies healthy, we want to lean towards plant-based. So yes, I can't tell you that it's better one way or another. It's really a personal choice. But in order to be more plant-based and to bring in more healthy components into your diet, you want to lean towards plant and lean away from animal protein.
Okay, great. So one last question for Barbara before we close. I do want to spend a few minutes reminding the audience about a few things, but the last question, Barbara, is do you have a recipe book?
I don't have a recipe book. However, I do have a website, and I do have a number of my recipes on the website. The one we did tonight is not on my website yet, but it will be, and other recipes that I've done at Hoag and elsewhere will be on my website as well. So thank you. I don't have a book, but yes, I have a website.
Okay, yeah, and just another reminder, everybody will be receiving the newsletter right after tonight's event, and that newsletter will have a link to this recipe that Barbara put together, and then the Hoag YouTube will also have this video, for reference in case anybody wants to do the exercises again. Thank you both. You were both wonderful speakers. We really enjoyed having you tonight. Before we end, I just want to say a few things to the audience. One, we're really happy that you joined us tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. Please give us your feedback on the survey that comes in the newsletter, so we can hear your feedback about other topics you'd like to hear about, and feedback about if you haven't heard about our Breast Friend Ambassador program, we are offering any of our previous breast cancer patients to help and mentor any of our newly diagnosed breast cancer patients. So if you are a previous breast cancer patient and you're interested in being somebody's breast friend ambassador, please let your nurse navigator know or reach out to us through the phone numbers below. So we can get you started, and hopefully you'll be able to help other patients go through their experience of breast cancer. In our newsletter also, there's information about our metastatic podcast put together by our wellness coach, Anusha YJ Kumar. She helps lead a mindfulness and meditation practice for our metastatic breast cancer patients. So you can also look out for that in the newsletter. And We're really happy you joined us tonight, and please look out for our October event. The date has been set for Tuesday, October 26th. With different topics each time, and hopefully when you guys give us your feedback, we'll be bringing you material and things that you love to hear about. So thank you so much, Asia and Barbara. I hope everybody enjoyed the event tonight, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Dr. Khan.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.